Namaskar. The strength of a nation, the level of prosperity of a nation, the level of people's self-confidence and self-respect depends a lot on the standard of science and technology that nation commands. Luckily, we as India are today in a position where we feel very proud as Indians because India has achieved a lot in the field of science and technology. And today, to talk about it, we have Dr. Vardhan with us, who is Minister for Science and Technology, Earth Sciences, and of course environment also. Dr. Vardhan, welcome to Doordarshan's program.
Thank you.
How would you place India today as far as science and technology is concerned? How would you place India in the community of nations?
Oh yes, I think we really feel proud of the progress made by India in the field of science in the last couple of decades, and more particularly in the last 5 years under Prime Minister Narendra Modi, on virtually every parameter that you can think of or on which the progress of science in any countries is evaluated internationally. We stand amongst the first 10 nations in the whole world. We have say, if for example I tell you scientific publications, we are 6th in the whole world. Growth of scientific publications, the international growth rate is just 4%, our growth rate is 14%. CSIR, our most prestigious organization, running 38 laboratories, doing research on virtually every subject, producing technologies, delivering them to the people of India through the industry. We rank 9th in a list of 1207 such institutions all over the world which are funded by public money and do research and develop technologies. Similarly, we are 3rd in nanotechnology, we are 4th in weather forecasting, we are number 1 in the whole world in early tsunami warnings. We have means in terms of patents and anything on which you can evaluate. And if you look at the progress made and the strides made by us in space science, I think everybody feels proud of India. We did the Mars orbiter mission in the first attempt most successfully.
Yes, of course, that was a moment of pride.
We could send 104 satellites in space in one single go. We could create the South Asian satellite. We could send the Astrosat. Now we are going to have the Chandrayaan also. Yeah. Now the Americans also come to us and they use our launch pad and our carriers to send their satellites in space.
So coming to, because to the point that science and technology becomes useful when it is applied in the field, when it affects directly the life of ordinary people and it improves their level of the quality of life. So how science and technology is helping in various fields, whether it is agriculture, it is health, it's waste management, energy field, water, etc. So let us start from agriculture.
We can start from anything. You see, agriculture, you know, right from science helping in giving these soil health cards to farmers, giving them adequate information about weather, and through which millions of farmers are benefited in this country. They plan their agriculture in a more organized manner and it produces an impact, positive impact in GDP of the tune of say 50,000 crores. That too for just 10 million farmers. Now we are giving it to 40 million farmers, that type of information. We have made so many good quality farm implements which make things easier. In Environment Ministry, you see, our science people, we could produce those farm implements which will help those farmers who are usually doing that parali burning, causing all these pollution menace in the capital of India. So we produced a tractor, a small tractor, which will be useful for farmers who have very small amount of land, say an acre or so. So there are so many things that the scientists have done, particularly.
You know, fields like tissue culture or high yielding varieties.
Of course, then if you apply biotechnology and then if you use the plant genomic science. We have produced stress resistant, disease resistant, drought resistant varieties, and virtually for the everything that the science can help in giving them a good yield, improving the quality, improving the genetics. Science is there to help. Similarly, the application of all this to produce good quality food technologies, produce good quality foods. Our labs in Chandigarh, a small tractor which will be useful for farmers who have very small amount of land, say an acre or so. So there are so many things that the scientists have done, particularly
fields like tissue culture or high yielding varieties.
Of course, then if you apply biotechnology, and then if you use the plant genomic science, we have produced stress resistant, disease resistant, drought resistant varieties, and virtually for the everything that the science can help in giving them a good yield, improving the quality, improving the genetics. Science is there to help. Similarly, the application of all this to produce good quality food technologies, produce good quality foods. Our labs in Chandigarh, our CFTRI Center Food Technology Research Institute in Mysore, they have produced so many, good quality foods. Similarly, our lab in Himachal in Palanpur, they have produced so many good quality foods also, which are affordable, they are tastier, they are healthier. So this is also one level.
And of course they help the farmer in value addition.
Yes, of course there is a value addition for them, because whatever they are producing in the farm is being converted into something which will be easily sold out, because the scientists have converted it into something which is most attractive. Then if you talk of health, all these new vaccines, because of the development of rotavirus vaccine, which is now part of the universal immunization program, I think lakhs of young infants and newborns, their lives are saved, because they no longer will suffer from diarrhea, of which a major cause is
and of course we heard that your laboratories have developed various new drugs.
New drugs also, you see
equipment.
Lot of new drugs, even these contraceptives, Saheli, it's an invention of CSIR. Research is going on many drugs. You see vaccine for John's disease for animals. The streptokinase that has been developed by our laboratory in Chandigarh, it's a clot buster. Earlier, for a poor person to have a heart attack and then have a very, very costly injection which will take care of the clot in his coronary arteries, it was pretty difficult for a common person. Now he has got access to this streptokinase, which is cost effective. Biotechnology people are with, you see our clinicians in say places like AIMS and IIT and our scientists together, they are producing a lot of different types of medical devices which are affordable, and whether these are the valves or the stents or the different types of splints, etc. A lot of things are happening on this front to help the field of then of course for water, various types of membranes.
In the field of nanomedicine, there have been quite impressive developments.
Obviously, nanotechnology is a recent development, but we are third in the whole world, and almost in every field you have some nanoparticles being used for different type of applications in the society.
Yeah, water filters and
water filters are
air
there.
Purifiers.
Water filters of various natures. For providing water at affordable prices to the people of India. I think the CSIR has done exemplary job. Our Earth Sciences Ministry has done an exemplary job with these desalination plants
Yeah,
which have been
we come
successfully
to
installed.
providing safe and enough water for use in for drinking purpose as well as for agriculture. I'm sure there have been quite a few good achievements of
Oh
Indian
yes, of course.
scientists.
You see, I am mentioning to you that we are working on a desalination mission. Already, desalination plants have been set up on various islands in Lakshadweep, and they are successfully running there. They are producing water at a very affordable price, and the water is quite tasty, and it's definitely much better than the water provided by many cities. So science is helping them to take care of their water needs, and of course give them better food.
And also there is one, I read in one of the news items that you have developed technologies where you can identify underground water resources.
Oh yes. We have our lab in Hyderabad, which is called CSIR, NGRI, National Geographical Research Institute, National Geological. So we basically have that is through a heliborne approach.
Scanning.
So it's like scanning of the underground water table, whether the water is there available at a particular spot. So that is all scanned like an X-ray, and the helicopter is almost running at say almost 500 meters, maybe half a kilometer from the ground, and then you can guide the administrators in the developing cities so that they don't, you can say, waste the underground water table. If there is a good rich water table, then of course we have to plan the development in such a way that we don't lose sight of that and use of that underground water table.
And you just mentioned the word waste. Waste management is yet another field which is one of the major issues.
Our CSIR laboratories have already developed technologies for converting every type of waste, whether it is a solid waste, whether it is a plastic waste, whether it is a electronic waste, or whether it is a bio waste, biomass. For everything there is a technology which has been developed, and it has been successfully demonstrated. You go to Kashipur, you will find a plant established with the help of biotechnology department and our chemical institute in Mumbai, and with the help of India Glycols, where every day 24 hours we convert 10 tons of biomass into 3000 liters of 2G ethanol. And for if you want to see the solid waste getting converted into real energy, and means power, bijli, you can go and see the plant which has been set up by the North Delhi Municipal Corporation, all with the help of science. If you go to IIP now, Indian Institute of Petroleum, you will find the plastic being converted into diesel. Already there is a plant working there where they are converting Jatropha into biofuel. That aeroplanes have started running with biofuel. That's a great revolution. The first time it has happened in India. So there is a huge, robust waste to wealth movement which has got developed in India.
India has a huge bank of traditional wisdom as far as science is concerned. There are, in many fields, India has been a leader even in ancient times. How you are drawing from that wisdom for modern application?
I think there is no doubt about the fact that India has a huge, rich ancestral wisdom, not only in science but in virtually every field, whether it has been medicine, whether it has been astronomy, whether it has been art and culture, sculpture, anything that you can imagine or think of. If you really read in depth what we were in the past, you will feel really proud of your own country, India. And when I became the Science and Technology Minister, and when I started seeing what's happening in science and what has been our ancient past, we used to feel proud of it. And we have produced great scientists like Sir C.V. Raman and Acharya Jagdish Chandra Bose and the likes of S.N. Bose, P.C. Ray, Ramanujan, and so many have been there in the past. I very fondly remember, and you see, these were the scientists who had very little facilities, but they worked with in those difficult circumstances.
Yeah, that is a great advantage with India, that we can get results from very little resources. Our discussion is going on these issues, and I'm sure we have many other things to discuss. We'll come back after a few moments, and we are talking about science and technology in India, and we'll be back and discuss it further with Dr. Harshvardhan, who is the Minister for Science and Technology, Environment and Earth Sciences. We'll come back soon. We are talking about science and technology in India, and especially modern India, where we are going and what we have achieved and what are our aims. We are talking to Dr. Harshvardhan, who is Minister for Science and Technology and Earth Sciences, as well as for Environment. Dr. Harshvardhan, we were talking about the traditional knowledge we have, and from that traditional knowledge, from for example, from astronomy, now we are really in the space. So how do you look at India's achievements in the field of space?
As I said earlier before the break, that I think we have been you can say we have been on top of the world in almost every field, and more particularly in science. And you are talking about astronomy. We are still in astronomy. We are amongst the top nations in the whole world. You see, I fondly remember a visit that I made to Bose Vigyan Mandir in Calcutta once as a science and technology minister, and there I saw one trivial type of instrument. And there it was written, this is the instrument on which Sir Acharya Jagdish Chandra Bose discovered wireless. And in the same institution, I saw another corner, there was a handwritten note by a person no less than the grandson of Marconi. And you see, normally if you ask anybody, everybody will say associate wireless with Marconi. So, but the grandson of Marconi in that note has written that he feels so happy to be here in this place. He might have visited that Bose Vigyan Mandir and see that instrument on which Acharya Jagdish Chandra Bose worked. And he acknowledges officially Acharya Jagdish Chandra Bose discovered wireless much before Marconi did. You see, our scientists, they had the greatness that they always felt that science is universal. They will never get into those patenting and just owning and all that. So they were like, they had a very liberal approach about things. And a lot of our great scientists in the past have done great things for us.
Dr. Harshvardhan, we were just now talking about space sciences. How do you, would you rate the Indian achievements in the field of space sciences?
I think we are on top of the whole world, and maybe Americans and maybe one or two countries are as good and as advanced as us, maybe slightly better than us, but our accomplishments in space science are inferior to none. We could do the Mars orbiter mission successfully in the first attempt. We have seen yourself. We produced those 104 satellites. We sent them in space in one single go. We created a sort of a world record. The South Asian satellite, I remember, it was conceived as an idea when Prime Minister went for the Mars orbiter mission, and he declared it there. And in the last 4 or 5 years itself, we have seen that being made and also launched, and it is helping the South Asian countries. We have seen Astrosat, we have seen these the foreign satielites, American and other satellites being launched from our launch pads.
And I think very soon we are going to have Navik.
Yes, now we are going to have our Chandrayaan also now, and then maybe in 2021 or 2022 we will have the man going into space. So all this is, I think, extraordinary achievement. That
Dr. Harshvardhan, these are two fields. One is space and the other is atomic energy. These are two fields where we had to reinvent the wheel. as our Indian scientists had to reinvent the wheel in both the fields. How do you look at this achievement, which is appears to be quite outstanding, that without, not only that the rest of world didn't help us, didn't join hands, rather there were attempts to even stop us.
This country has to always express its gratitude to our great Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. And now, today, Narendra Modi also, obviously, I will tell you. You see, he became Prime Minister in, second time he became Prime Minister in March 1998. First time he was Prime Minister for 13 days. And within 2 months, he made us a big, capable nuclear nation. It is not that the nuclear capability was developed only in those 2 months. This was available with the country earlier also, with all those prime ministers in the 90s, including Mr. Narasimha Rao, and all those in the 80s, including Mr. VP Singh and Rajiv Gandhi, etc. But our Atalji had the guts to really implement that. And similarly, now we saw our Prime Minister Narendra Modi. We earlier also used to have all these terrorist attacks. We can't forget what happened on 26th of November 2008. But in 2019, the Prime Minister has shown us the, you can say, reply to Uri. He has shown us the reply to Pulwama. This is the same Air Force pilots, same aeroplanes, same fighters.
So you need a person to take decisions.
Obviously.
So now coming to other issues like, this Indian science and technology has been quite effectively playing its role in fields like blue economy, in the field of environment, climate change. How our scientists have contributed, say, in the field of blue economy? Let's start with.
Blue economy, you see, there is a lot of research going on in the oceans. We have a deep ocean mission. We have a, you can say, desalination mission in the offing. We are exploring new sources of, alternate sources of energy in the ocean. We are using and exploring ocean as a source of, rich source of our potable water ultimately, and also as a source of food, for which a lot of information and help is being provided to fishermen. We have our research vessels which are always in the oceans, and they are doing, with the help of scientists, a lot of research about the oceans, exploring the various rich polymetallic nodules and other sources of richness in the oceans. So that is one aspect of the oceans which is being dealt with by the scientists in a big way, basically.
And coming to the environmental sciences.
Environmental, I would say,
change.
Climate change, global warming, India is leading from the front. We all remember that the exemplary leadership was provided to the whole world by our Prime Minister at the Paris COP meeting. Following that meeting, that was the meeting where he, in fact, gave to the world a Mission Innovation movement.
Yes.
Since then, I have attended all the meetings of Mission Innovation in San Francisco, China, Sweden, Denmark, and have represented the country. At every meeting, the world has acknowledged the leadership of Prime Minister, and the whole world now acknowledges that whatever promises we have made to the whole world in terms of achieving, we have our nationally determined contributions. We have to reduce our greenhouse gases by 33 to 35% by 2030 from the 2005 level. We have to achieve total electric mobility by 2030, 175 gigawatts of clean energy by 2022, BS4 to BS6 by 2020. On all these fronts, I would say we are marching ahead at a great pace. We are well ahead of our target. We were supposed to have 40% of our total installed capacity by clean energy. We have already achieved 35%, and we were supposed to be achieving it by 2030. We have already, as per the 2014 report that we submitted, calculation up to 2014, we have already reduced our greenhouse gases by 21%. We were supposed to reduce by 20 to 25% by 2020. So this is the level at which, And now the extraordinarily brilliant idea of the Prime Minister, he launched the International Solar Alliance.
Yes, yes.
He's given the new fantastic idea of one sun, one grid, one world. And already more than 70 countries have joined the International Solar Alliance.
There is one more field I would like to have a very quick answer from you. It's about we have made achievements in the lab, quite impressive. Now transferring it to the industry and to the common man, how would you assess it?
There is a great amount of improvement in all this. We have all, number one, you see, amongst the various laboratories and the various types of research, we have now, number one, we have developed good quality synergy. We have made different types of groups, a group of labs which were dealing with biological aspects, chemical, physical, strategic sector, etc., etc. And then within those sectors also good quality synergy, good quality mechanism where fundamental science is getting on to translational science, solution science, and then using the route of the industry to deliver it to the people of India. All this mechanism is now quite well institutionalized under our Prime Minister. And we are ensuring that whatever is developed in the laboratory, it's not only for producing or glorifying a paper. I have been advocating at all international forums for the scientists also that the definition of impact factor should change. Impact factor should not be how many times your paper will be read by anybody, but it should be how much of impact it will create to improve the lives of the common man.
Yeah, I think this is the point where I wish we could have discussed it much longer, but we have limitation of time. And let us conclude on this, your remark that Indian scientists have been successful in, number one, achieving new knowledge and reaching goals in the various frontiers. But at the same time, we have been quite successful in translating this knowledge into really those products and processes which help the common man in improving their life quality. So thank you, Dr. Harshvardhan. Thanks a lot for talking to Doordarshan. Thank you very much.
Welcome.